Okay, we're on Yud Aleph Amud Aleph, 7 lines down from the top. And we have some interesting shilas that come out. A lot Lumdisha shilas on Amud Aleph, and then we have some more Agarata. So Ton Rabbanon, yeah. Me'ama Oretz. The Pasuk said that there's talking the Pasuk about bringing a carbon chata says Me'ama Oretz. It doesn't mean like what we call Amma, meaning it means people from the land. Prat Mashiach comes to exclude a Mashiach, meaning comes to exclude a Kayan Mashiach, right? Well, he doesn't make a carbon. He has his own carbon chatas, like we've been learning. May Amar, it's probably nothing, and May Amar, it's with the mem comes to exclude a nasi that he also does have. Right? So we say V'aloi Kfar Yotzu Mashiach Lida and Bapar and Nasi Lida Basir. Why do you need a pasuk for this? We already know that the Mashiach brings a par and the Nasi brings a seir if they ever do anything wrong. So we say Sheyach Mashiach Al Helam Davar Im Shigas Maisa maybe par. Al Shigas Maisa L'Chudei maybe Kispo Seira, because you would think that a Mashiach with the Kohen will forget something, right? Together, meaning he made a mistake and he acted on it, brings a par. And on Shigas Maisa L'Chudei, but for a regular Shaygig on a Maisa, he should bring a regular carbon, like a Kispa Visira, like a Kesev or an Ace, or a Seir, I'm sorry. Tamaloimer, my Amor, it's problem Mashiach, my Amor, it's problem Nasi. Meaning you would think that when does the Pasuk mean that they bring a par or a Seir? That's if they made a mistake in Psak and they followed it. If they made a mistake and they did something wrong, so that you would think is not a problem. Is not a problem. I mean, not a problem. I mean, they bring the standard carbon, so that's what the puzzle telling you that they don't. Okay, so I'm going to ask Tinach Mashiach. Elanasi b'shigas ma'asehu demaisi, but that's so a Mashiach, a Kayan Mashiach. So he doesn't. If he does something wrong, he doesn't bring a carbon chatas, but a Nasi does. So how can you think? How could you think that that's not a havamina? Meaning that is the halacha. Samar Zvid, Mishmei Derava, Hachav Mayaskinon. We're talking about he ate a kazayas chayla when he was a regular hedjid. He was a small person. Right? V'nismana, and then he was appointed. And then he found out that he ate something wrong. He ate a kazayas chayla when he was a regular person. So now, which we've had before, what do we look at it as? Do we go busted a chet, in which case he has to bring a regular carbon, or do we say no? Now he's a nasi or a kayin, and he doesn't. So you would think that in this case he should bring a kispa seira, because the ma'aser the chet was done when he was a regular person. Kamash Malon that he doesn't bring. That's all good according to Reb Shimon, who goes with when you found out about the Avera. So he found out about the Avera once he was a king or once he was a Nasi. Okay. So then that fits. El Rabbanan knows the Basaf Chatas, but according to Rabbanan, they always go with when the Chet was done. When the Chet was done, he was a regular person. So he has to bring the carbon. So what are you going to say then? So answers, here's where we start. Here's where we start with the lumdus. He had a half a kazayas chaylev when he was a hedjit. V'nismana, then he was appointed. V'ishlimu, and then he finished it up. Meaning he had a chatzi kazayas chaylev when he was a regular person, and a chatzi kazayas chaylev when he was appointed. Then and then he found out about what he did wrong. So you would think that they combined a nice kispa seira, and he should bring a kispa seira. Kamash Malan that he doesn't bring in that case. Now there's a big caveat here which has to do with Yom Kippur, meaning we know that Chatzi Zayis and a Chatzi Zayis only combines if you have it within the Zman of Kitei Achilas Pras. If it's not Zman Kedei Achilas Prasa, you're not chayav anything, which is what we do for Chaylim on Yom Kippur. We tell them have a half a zayis or a third of a zayis, whatever. Have less than a kazayis every 9 minutes or every 8 minutes, going down, depending on how important it is for them to have it, right? So what we talking about here, you have to say here, well, how could you say half a zayis that he ate when he was a regular guy combines with a half a zayis that he ate when he became a nasi? How they don't combine anyways?
Why not? I don't understand what's the problem.
They have to be eaten within.
So you're making up this case. So that's the case. No big deal.
So that's right. So that's what you have to say is the case. Meaning there's a lot going on here from when he ate the first zayis to when, especially if you go with that, it's a 2 or 3 minute shear. Meaning he must have eaten
he had 9 minutes shear. No,
yeah, he must have been eating his chalev sandwich, and then he gets a knock on the door, and they say, "Hey," they say, "We're appointing you to Kohen Gadol." Now he says, "Well, very good, I accept. Now let me just finish my sandwich."
Right.
Right. That's basically what happens. There's still a lot to go on. Otherwise, the whole sugi doesn't work.
And becoming a nasi or kohen gadol doesn't make hesek hadas either.
I guess not.
What hesek hadas?
From eating. Otherwise, it's definitely not.
It's got to be that he's sitting there.
They've been grooming him for 14 years to become the next melech. He already got the signal on his phone that they killed his brother, who was the Kohen Gadol. Don't worry, his guy killed the guy. He knows this already. Before they knocked on the door, he knew it.
Right. Whatever it is, that's what you have to say.
And it's Erev Yom Kippur also.
No, that was just saying as a mushal.
Well, he married his new wife in the morning, his new 11-year-old Basula bride, and then
then he has to marry a second one too.
Nobody in the island has ever gone to a movie or watched a TV show. I don't understand what the problem is.
Okay. Well, the next Gemara makes it a little tougher to fit it into this time frame, but fine. Anyways, so that's what the Gemara is teaching you. That's the Chiddush. Fine. So then, Bamine Rabbi Rav Nachman. So Rabbi asked the child from Rav Nachman, Nesias Ma'al Shetafsik. Is becoming a nasi, does that make a hefsik? Tell me what's the case. He eats a chatzi kazayas chaylev when he was a hedjit. Right, when he was a regular yid, he had a half a kazayas. In Ismana, then he became a nasi. The abar, then he was bounced from being a nasi. The ishlimu, and then he finished it. So now we have one more step to fit into the 9 minutes. All right, again, he ate a half a zayis. He was appointed nasi. Right, it wasn't not Kohen Gadol, because Kohen Gadol we already gave the other answer. Right, he was appointed nasi, then he was knocked down for being a nasi, then he was over Navera. So meaning here, the whole kizayis was eaten when he was a hedjit. It's just in the middle there, he was a nasi. So now, do we say they're combined or not? So Hasam who dilemma start after achle pagik kishu hedjit to pagik shu nasi. There he ate half when he was a hedjit, and half when he was a nasi, so they don't combine. Avalacha the idi kishu hedjit, but here both half a kizaysim were when he was a hedjit. Achila mitzaref aidilma loishna. I'm saying achle. I'm sorry. The idi kishu hedjit achle. He ate both of them when he ate both when he was a hedjit. Mitzaref. So do they combine aidilma loishna, or do we say there's no difference? Right. Being a nasi in the middle separates the whole thing. So what's the din? So when it says Tisha Lemeha, the Amar Ula, Amar Rav Yochanan, why don't we say Pshat from what Ula said in the name of Rav Yochanan, Acha Chalev v'Hifresh carbon. If a guy eats Chalev and he separates a carbon to Himir, right? And then he became a Mumar, which is going to carry us the rest of the daf. So he ate Chalev, he made a carbon, which is fine. Then he became a Mumar, who carbonos are not accepted from Mumrim. And then he went back and and he became no longer a mummer. Since he was pushed off, he's pushed off. Right? Meaning he was mafresh a carbon, fine. Then in the middle there, he became ice carbon. The carbon is no good. Then he went back. So now he's back to being a regular yid. Now I don't know exactly what you do. You renounce your mummer membership. I understand how you can become a mummer. I don't know how you get out of being a mummer. I guess you do tshuva. You announced to everybody you do tshuva.
I would assume, yeah, tshuva probably. The whole set, what we learned before.
I'm saying, but you still have to act on it.
You have to have a case that comes up and you don't do the same thing.
Correct.
Uh-huh.
I guess that's what you have to do. Yeah, so he wants to bring a raya from Mumar. So you see there in the middle, it became non-eligible, right? And we still say that even though it's eligible now, once it's out, it's out. So to here, maybe once it's a nasi, it's a nasi. So when it's a hachiyash the Mumar la barasuya carbonhu. I barasuya carbonhu. It's a different story. The Mumar was not somebody who can bring a carbon. So Mamela, we don't combine from before he was a mummer to after he was a mummer. This guy did bring a carbon. All right. Fine. So not did. He was able to bring a carbon. So therefore it's not considered a hefsek. Fine. Talk the Gemara, frag the Gemara. Well, yeah, Gemara asks the Shaila. If he had a suffik chelev, which now he has to be when he's a hedge, it means he's chayv and asham tali. And then he became a nasi, and then he found out about his suffix. Then mahu, what's the din? I'll leave it to Rabbanon. According to Rabbanon, who say he goes basa the chet, there's no shaila. The maisi asham tali is to bring an asham tali because we go with what he was when he did the chet.
They didn't vet him too good.
What?
No. They didn't vet him too good.
Yeah, well, with the history back then, you don't know. It could be they had no choice. Elakiti Bailach, Alibid Reb Shimon. The Shaz according to Reb Shimon. In the Ishtani, Levadai, once he changed over to a Vadai, meaning when he changes to a Vadai, Ishtani Lesafik. So he changes for a suffix too. And therefore he's going to be Potter. Right? Meaning, if you're like Reb Shimon, who says that he's bringing the carbon when he's a Nasi, so then it goes with the status that he is when he's a nasi. So ayduma ki ishtani levadai, ishtani carbon didei. When he changes over to a vadai, then that's when his carbon changes over. Yeah, I mean it goes from how do you call it? I don't even want to try and remember. It goes from a kispa to a seira to a. I say it. You go to a seir, not a seira, to a seir, yeah. Carbon day, but here where the carbon doesn't change, right? They bring an asham tali. They both bring asham tali. Ema laisi asham tali. So maybe he should bring an asham tali. Meaning maybe his change changes. Maybe it changes things. So the Gemara says teku. So we don't know. So if it changes from asham tali, then we don't know. Fine. Taner Rabbanon. Now we get into a whole back and forth here of exactly what mummer is all about. So Taner Rabbanon, prat lemummer. Ma'amaretz comes to tell you that a mummer doesn't bring a carbon. Reb Shimon bar Yossi Reb Shimon Asher lo yisei asena b'shgaga v'ashem. It says that he didn't do it b'shageg v'ashem. Hashavi also maybe carbon. Al shigase. Somebody who does tshuva from his yediyah brings a carbon on his shageg. Lo shavi yediyase. But if he doesn't do tshuva with yediyah, meaning he doesn't care, right? Ain't it maybe carbon al shigase. So it's basically, it sounds like a mummer. It's only somebody who's trying to do tshuva on his shagig is eligible to bring a carbon. Now, why is he bringing a carbon if he doesn't care?
How many things can you learn from one word, from two words?
What?
How many things can you learn from Amoritz?
I think it's a different opinion.
So one says problem, one says problem, whatever we said before, Mashiach.
Yeah. I think, but
Uh-huh.
I could be. Well, before it learns.
What it's Uncle?
Before, yeah.
They call you Mashiach. That's what it was before. I think. I mean,
What?
yeah, I don't know. It was both Tanur abundance.
Yeah.
It was from 4 minutes ago, so I don't remember it so well already. But
Well, look, you're able to talk to Rabbi Stard, you still have something in your ear, so you see you could do two things at once.
I didn't even hear, I didn't get that at all. Right? I could
Well, that's how he's talking. Anyway, so I don't know. You're saying that it's you can't learn out so many things. I don't know.
I'm not saying.
I would think that it's two different. I
I'm
would think
not
that it's
saying
two
anything.
different opinions.
Right.
It's two different opinions, but it could be. I don't know.
First price is from the mem. This is from the word Amoritz at all. What's an Amoritz?
No, before we dash in the mem, the mayam.
Yeah, that was a drasha. This is not a drasha. This is just what is the taich of Amoritz? Amoritz does not include mummer. It's not a drasha. The same way that pratla nasi or pratla whatever is.
Right. I hear maybe. Okay, so let's see. So he says basically they're both saying that somebody who's a mummer or is non-believer doesn't get to bring, I guess, a shoygig. So my benai. So what's the practical difference between these two shitas? Amar Rav Hamnuna, mummer lecha chalev who maybe carbon al adam ikebedau. It's somebody who's a mummer for eating chalev, meaning he's got this joke. He's got to eat chalev, right? But we know he's a mummer for chalev. But he's bringing a carbon because he ate dam by mistake. Once he's a mummer for chalev, he's also a mummer for blood. I guess the two go along. The other sheet says no, he's a mummer. He's a mummer for eating chalev, does not make him a mummer for eating blood. So therefore, he can bring the carbon. I mean, it's a whole shaila. The Gemara's in Chulin we just did in the morning chabura. If somebody's a mummer for one thing in the Torah, does that make him a mummer for everything? It comes up a lot. We've discussed it many a time about somebody who, they don't dress tznius, but they keep a kosher household. So can you eat in their house? Those type of things. I don't know. I don't say they're a mummer, but you can't trust them in tznius. I don't know what the situation would be, but that type of thing.
I think this is even more than that. Even if you can, here it might be different because Chalem and Dam are in the same pasuk. So Mumalahai,
Correct, exactly. As I'm saying, they both hold, right? The Mefarshim say here that, but they both hold that if you're a mummer for one thing, you're not a mummer for everything. But here is different because Chalem and Dam are buddies. Chalem and Dam always go together, right? Yeah. So Gemara asks, right? There are 4 wide lines now. But we know that Rava holds that if you're a mummer to eat chalev, you're not a mummer to eat dam. Right? Ella nevela. Here we're talking about a guy who eats nevela l'te'oven. Right? He's just about taiva, so he eats nevela. We're talking about where he by mistake ate chalev instead of shuman. Meaning, so he normally doesn't eat chalev, but he eats tarfus. Marsavar kiven l'te'oven ochel b'mezid. Since l'te'oven he eats it b'mezid, it's a mummer who is a mummer. Marsavar kiven the ilu ashkach te'era. Since if he would find something that's mutter loy ochal, loy ochal de'isura, if he would find heter, he wouldn't eat isur. La mummer, he's not a mummer. Meaning, and this is also an important point. The difference between a mummer l'te'oven and a mummer lahachis is if you put food kosher food in front of a mumar l'teyavan, he's not gonna, he won't eat it, because meaning if he has a choice, kosher or not kosher, he'll eat the kosher. But when he's traveling and he's hungry and there's a McDonald's and then he'll give in and eat it. That's a mumar l'teyavan. So therefore, we would say that it would be accepted. Fine. So Tana Rabbanon, achal chaylev zeu mumar. Somebody eats chaylev, that's a mumar. Right? Ve'ezu mumar. What type of mumar? Achal nevelas treifus shkatz v'masim v'shasa yayin. Somebody who eats nevelas and treifus and bugs and all sorts of stuff, and he drinks yayin nesuch. These are guys are five things, right? Yeah, he's a 5-tool player, Ravar. This guy, he does all he's straight across the board, right? To Rabbi Yehuda, klayim. There you go. And even Rabbi Yehuda, for some reason, adds in, even if he wears klayim. Why klayim? I don't know. So Amar, ochel chaylev zeu mumar. If you eat chaylev, that's a mumar. Ve'ezu mumar oichel nevelus. Maika Amar. Right? What is it saying? Right? Meaning you already said somebody who the bride says you ate somebody who eats chaylev. Then you ask, what is it? Like, how do you define a mumar? If even if you eat chaylev l'teyavan, which is not purpose, just because you have a taiva for it, you're a mumar. Lahachis, and if you do it on purpose, meaning not on purpose, really lahachis is purposely. Now there's different girsayos. I don't know. Some Gemaras have the word min here, and some have tzeduki. Mine has tzeduki. I don't know if anybody else has different. Right? But okay, there's different girsayos here. So, but if you do a la'achas, you're a tzeduki. Bezu mumar, ve'ezu mumar the mistama tzeduki. And what type of mumar is mistama tzeduki? Havayamer oichel nevelos trevis shkatzim and razav shasa yayin nesef. Right? So that's like a different type of mumar. It's a mumar who's mistama a tzeduki. Right? If you ate chaylev, you're a mumar. Right? If you do a lahachis, then you're a tzeduki. If you ate chaylev l'teyavan, you're still a mumar. If you eat a lahachis, you're a tzeduki. And what's a tzeduki? Those five. So Rabbi Yosef Rabbi Yehuda af halovish klayim. Yes, Rabbi Yehuda says even if you wear klayim, my benai, what's the difference between them? It could be now klayim derabbanon. So whether if somebody does klayim derabbanon, which is most klayim nowadays, which is like most isurim nowadays, derabbanon. So Marsa midaraisa avi mumar derabbanon le'avi mumar. Midaraisa, he's a mumar. If he's only on a derabbanon, then he's not considered a mumar. Marsa or klayim keeping the mefarsim isure, but klayim, since it's very meforsim, afilim b'derabbanon avi mumar, then it's a mumar. So it comes out, I think, according to this Gemara, comes out that if a guy decides that he's not doing derabbanons, he's not a mumar. It's only because of klayim is a very well-known isser, and people don't realize that it's a derabbanon. So the memela, he's possibly a mumar according to Rabbi Yehuda, right? But other than that, it sounds like the default is that if you have a derabbanon, so you're not a mumar. Fine. Think about Rav Acha Ravina.
Equivalent of someone using a cell phone on Shabbos today?
What?
Is that the equivalent of someone using a cell phone on Shabbos today? So this is Drabbana, but it's a well-known issue.
I would say, well,
I didn't know that.
The what?
I didn't know both things that the Gershon said. I didn't know it's also. I didn't know it's a well-known. I don't know.
What, using a cell phone?
Yeah, no.
You use your cell phone on Shabbos, Aaron?
No.
So you know it's us, sir.
No.
No?
He doesn't like to use his cell phone during the week.
Okay,
Right.
no problem. No problem. Now I got it.
Yeah, I would think you're not a mumar for using a cell phone. You think you are?
I don't know, I'm wondering, according to Rabbi Yehuda, is that the equivalent of this? Kilayim Drabanan.
I would think so.
Gershon, what's Kalayim the Rabbanon?
Most kilayim, when it's not actually sewn together.
Yaakov holds there's no Kalayim. So what's Kalayim the Rabbanon?
I said, no, you don't have to check. I didn't say there's no Kalayim. You don't have to check.
Look, most of our
That doesn't make me.
kilayim.
You're trying to make me into a mummer, or you may try to make me a mummer about, okay, a mummer the Rabbanon. All right. I don't mind, Grata. Yeah. Yeah, I think most people, but most people, listen, Gershon, most people think things are not a Derabanan. Almost everything is Derabanan. Nidas could be Derabanan nowadays. Don't shout that one from the rooftops.
No, but I'm saying there are Isuri Deraisa and Shabbos that are well known, and the cell phone usage is Drabanan. But people think it's a Deraisa. It's a well known Isur.
Well, it could be it's a Deraisa according to the Chazanish, maybe.
Maybe.
I didn't what you were saying. You want to go the other way.
According to Rabbi Yehuda,
I thought you were trying to say that people that use cell on the Shabbos are not mumim. You're trying to say they are mumim.
I want to say that, but I'm trying to understand Rabbi Yehuda.
Yeah,
I could hear that.
He's comparing it to Kalayim.
Right. No, I hear that.
So Yaakov, how would Ruben? See, you guys could bring me into baseball. How would Rubenstein was on Shabbos? He was the public relations guy for Steinbrenner. If Steinbrenner called him Shabbos, he picked up the phone.
So,
yeah, I don't know which other clients also he did it for, but for Steinbrenner,
he's a moment Tayavan. Tayavan of money.
That's right. So he had a big check every month from Steinbrenner.
It's interesting you say that because I actually passed in something for somebody yesterday. I have no idea if I'm right, of course. Right? The Shiloh was like this. She's a BJJ girl, went to one of the local high schools. She's reading her a shidduch. And she was showing her pictures, some of her summer vacation at Eretz Yisrael. And this girl was wearing short sleeves, supposedly a regular yeshiva moed, and slits in her skirt that were still below the knee. So she wants to know, should she say this to the guy that she was looking at pictures? And the girl told her, I would never do this if I wasn't. So should she say something to the guy out to shidduch? So I asked her, where was she? She says that she was by one of her friends who are less religious in Eretz Yisrael. And that's the way they walked around this. I said, okay, so it's peer pressure. I think she's an honest, and I don't think you should say. I have no idea if I'm right. I didn't think it was a reason enough to, I don't think she's getting Tzedekah of the Year award, but I'm just saying, I don't think that's, she gave into the peer pressure or whatever it was. So she's not a mummer.
Was it like a private area where nobody else was around also?
She saw the pictures of her in her house and in the friend's house.
Uh-huh.
So I didn't think that was enough of a reason to say anything. I'm not so sure. But yeah. Anyways. Well, you don't like it, or you're not sure? You don't like that I'm not sure. You're not saying anything, Gershon? All right. Fine. Anyway, so play 4 lines off of the bottom. So plug Rav Acha Ravina Chadam L'Te'oven Mumar. If he does it for Taiva, he's a Mumar Lahachis Tzeduki. You do a Lahachis, it's Tzeduki. Chadam Lahachis Nami Mumar. Lahachis is also a Mumar. Ela Ezu Tzeduki. What is a Tzeduki? Kol Ha'over Avodas Kechavim. If he's over Avodah Zara, then he's a Tzeduki. Okay, that's it. Other than that, you're not. Also, again, some are goyers throughout this Gemara. They take out the word Tzeduki and it's min. If you eat a fly or a gnat, hareza mumar, you're a mumar. You're doing a lahachis, and it's called a mumar. Right? So the Gemara not at Tzeduki. So my answer is Hassan to Omar etam tam de Yisura. He wasn't really. He said, I want to taste some treif. He really picked a winner of treif, right? But he wants to taste some treif, so therefore he ate the bug. He wasn't doing it. He wasn't doing it to rebel. What?
What's the Havamina Maskana? The Havamina is that the gnat is so tiny it has no taste. There's no such thing as L'Te'oven.
No, he didn't know. You're talking about well-known things. Maybe he doesn't know the din of barrier. He didn't know. I thought it was Chatzi Shia. He didn't know it was barrier. You have barrier. A tiny
Doesn't
guy.
have, the havamina is that there's no taste. It's minute. There's no taste. It can't be l'tei oven if there's no taste. So he's definitely lahachis. That there's no question. The answer is no. He wanted to taste tam de iser.
Right.
Well, what's the answer? I don't know what's going on here. What do you mean tam de iser?
He wasn't doing it to rebel. Meaning, normally you would think a guy eats this and can only be doing it. What?
Yaakov, it's your peer pressure, just in case it's everybody in his
This thing is
fraternity
eating.
is eating it. No,
Right. Yeah. He was doing it.
I mean, there are bugs with meat on them. This is not one of those.
Right. So why would anybody eat a bug unless he wants to fight the Torah? Right. So I would say no, that's not. He just wanted to taste this, sir. But if you taka doing it to fight the Torah, then you'd be at Stuki. I mean, I don't get this whole thing exactly. What is the big nafkamina if you're a mummer or a Stuki? I'm saying is that our so it's which club you belong to?
I think a shchitas momer is kosher. Shchitas suzuki is always osir, even if you watch over him. No,
I don't know. That's well. And what about the ones that are gairas min instead of Stuki?
Or say for Torah, I think shekasva min.
Right.
Problem.
So that's I don't know.
But a mummer,
Anyways,
I don't know if that's a problem.
besides, and this is for Rabban, you can't trust our Gemaras for any terminology used with all these things anymore, right? Once you have the censor, min, Stuki, mummer, we have no idea what really was said, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. Right. Ezu nasi ze melech. So who was a nasi? So he said a nasi really is a melech, right? What's a pasuk? That he doesn't answer to anybody other than Hashem. He's the highest. So talk about a nasi yachol, nasi shevet, kinasha ben another. Maybe nasi means the nasi of each shevet, not just the nasi. It says from all the mitzvahs of Hashem Elekov, and know that you learn to fear Hashem. Right? Hashem Elekov, just like over there. That's by a king. He's got nobody to fear other than Hashem because he's the top. So it has to be a nasi who's got nobody above him. So therefore, it cannot be. We're not talking about the nasi of each shevet. We're talking about the nasi of Klal Yisrael. Okay, so Rebbe Reb Chia. So Rebbe asked the Shaila from Reb Chia, "Go and ani." He says, "What about me? Ma'u b'seir. Do I bring a seir as a nasi, or do I bring like a common person, which is a seira? I kissed a seira. So Amalei hare tzarascha b'bavel. Your tzara means your competition is in Bavel. Right? Your the Reish Galusa is in Bavel, and he's really in charge of you. So Mamela, you have somebody on top of you. Besides for the Ron Shalom, you also have the Reish Galusa. So it says Malchi Yisrael and Malchi Beis David. Each one brings their own special karbanos. So you see that they're two separate rulers, which means that they have to answer to each other, and yet they bring it. So where it says Amalei Hasam like Kaife Hadadi, they're not meshubed to each other. Kaife really comes to the word I think bent over. They don't have to. They're not indebted. Whatever. They're not
Subjugated.
Subjugated. There you go. Thank you. They're not subjugated to each other. Here we are stuck answering up to them. Right? So Mamela, it's a different case. Another version of this Gemara of Safra Masni Hachi. Safra said it this way: Rebbe Mirabchia. What about me Basir? Amalei Hasam Shevet. There, it's it's referred to as a shevet, what do you call it, a scepter. And hacha here in Eretz Yisrael, it's called the mechaykak. The mechaykak means somebody who tells the halachas, meaning one's a ruler and one is just teaching, saying the halachas. The Tanya, la yasa shevet me Yehuda. It says you should not remove a shevet from Yehuda. Zer roish gaila shebebavel sheroides Yisrael b'makol. That's the Rosh Goylem Bavel who hits Klal Yisrael. I don't know, it hits, whatever. He rules over them with a stick. A machaykim bein raglov, and a machaykim between his feet for his legs. Elu b'nei banav shel Hillel. These are the grandchildren of Hillel. Shemalavdim Torah Yisrael b'Ravim, because they teach Klal Yisrael Torah b'Ravim. So you see that there's two different things. You have the boss, and then you have the guy just teaching the halachas. I always tell people, if you really want to have a legitimate shul operation, your shul should have the rabbi who deals with, the shalom bayis and the politics and the speeches, and then you have the guy who answers the shilas. Right? That would be the best, because then like this, he's available. He doesn't have to deal. Otherwise, you're asking a lot from all these rabbis. Go to upsharins and nicham avelims and weddings and bar mitzvahs and and then they got no time to learn. Right? So you split it up, and then you have a good thing. So that's what it seems going on over here.
I think you said it from Rav Nosson Tzvi. I think what
said
it about Rav Nosson Tzvi when the Rosh Yeshiva before was Nifta, right? His Shver.
Yeah, Rabbanish.
So they were deciding who was going to become Rosh Yeshiva. So one of the brother-in-law said, or son-in-laws, or whatever, said he'll be Rosh Yeshiva. He said, so Rav Nosson Tzvi told me, he says, besides, you have to know that besides you're saying the shir and you're doing this, you also have to raise at that time $10 million a year. You have to do that also. So if you're sure you want this job, just know that comes with the territory too. Not saying you share for 1,000 guys.
All right, they attack it. Yeah. But Baruch Hashem, they survive over there with, I don't know how, but Baruch Hashem, they do. Okay, so Zog the Mishnah. The Ezu Mashiach. So who's Mashiach? Halavai, the Mishnah will give us that answer. Doesn't mean that. Meaning, how do you become a Mashiach? So as we discussed when we started this whole sugya, there's two ways to become anointed. All right? So anointed has these special kulas, but the Merubim Begadim, after they lost the Sheman HaMishcha, or after they stopped anointing, so then all you did was put on the new Begadim. So that does not qualify for this, although we're going to see that the sheet is that does. Fine. The point is that all these that we're referring to is the Kohen Mashiach when they were anointed. I don't know why the Mishnah is saying this. It's l'chara. It's just self-understood. There's no difference between a kain amashur b'shem and a mishkal l'meruv begadim el a par haba al kol mitzvahs. A par that comes on all mitzvahs, right? Because one does and one doesn't, right? If they make a mistake. Vein ben kain mashamish l'kain she'avar. So kain mashamish is the one who is active to the kain that was active. Right? Meaning the kain, you have the regular kain. He's the mashamish. But he went out of service for a few weeks, right? Whatever, any amount of time. So he was replaced. Now he came back in. So then this guy's backed out. So what's his status? So they're saying there's no difference between the two of them, Elaparia Mikipurim, except the Paran Yom Kippur, which the one that's active has to bring it. Asiris Eifa, and Asiris Eifa is the carbon that's brought every day by the Kohen Gadol. Zevazeh Shavim. But the rest they're equal in Avodas. Avodas Yom Kippurim with Suvam ala Basula. They both have to marry Basula, Basuram ala Almana. They're also Almana ve'enam etamim b'kreveim, and they're not tamid to their relatives, v'loy pairim, and they don't grow their hair long when they're in Avelus, v'loy parmim, and they don't tear kriya. Machzirin haretzeach, and they both will return the retzeach to
from Dari Miklat.
Yeah, from Dari Miklat. All right, so they both so basically they're the same except for the the Par Yom Kippur and the Seir Seifa. Okay, so Tanra Rabbanan Shemen HaMishcha she'asa Moshe b'Midbar. The Shemen
Okay, the
HaMishcha.
last thing. Machzir and
Yeah.
Herzl.
Yeah.
Who gets to do that?
When the Kohen Gadol dies, then the people come out of Ari Miklat.
Right, that's what I thought. But this is
So it's saying that either one of these fellows is if the people come out of Ari Miklat.
right, but it's saying Ein Ben Kohen Mishamash the Kohen Shavar.
Yeah, he used to be Kohen Gadol.
It doesn't
Now
say
they
Kohen
took-
Gadol. It says Ein Ben
It,
Kohen
it
Mishamash.
doesn't. It doesn't
say anything about
empty
it. It says
out
a
the
regular
whole.
Kohen.
It doesn't empty out the whole Ari Miklat. It's the Kohen Gadol who was Kohen Gadol when the guy murdered.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's that's the only guys that come out. If there's a guy who's there was a different Cohen and a Cohen Avar, whatever.
Let me go back. It doesn't say anything about a Kohen Gadol.
That's what we're
Ein
talking
Ben
about.
Kohen Mishamash the Kohen Shavar.
It's talking about Kohen Gadol.
What?
But
It's
talking
Kohen
Ein
Gadol.
Ben
It's-
Kohen Mishamash the
Yeah,
Kohen
I know,
Shavar.
Naftali.
Okay,
You're
fine.
100% right.
Oh,
It's talking
okay.
about Kohen Gadol.
Okay, that's okay.
Because
Yes.
a Kohen Sha'avar means somebody who is a different position, which means Kohen Gadol.
Yeah. And believe it or not, a Kohen Sha'avar doesn't mean that he was over an Aveira.
No,
After
I
doing
thought
the
it meant the
sugya for
Kohen
10
that stopped.
weeks.
I
Trust
retired.
me, and Naftali, it took me
put
time
those
to figure out too that the Sha'avar. Oh, look at this! We have a Kohen who wasn't he's over. No, that's our regular
I
standard
thought
Kohen.
it meant retired. Right? That's what it means.
No,
Retired.
footnote
No.
20.
It
Not
means
retired.
means forced retirement temporarily.
Sorry. Footnote. What one should I look at?
What?
Double test. I should look at a footnote, but I didn't hear which number.
20.
20. Okay.
I don't know what it says there, but
The Kohen Gadol becomes Tamei or otherwise
just
temporary
said.
unfit for
Explain.
service.
Kohen
A
Sha'avar.
substitute Kohen Gadol is appointed instead. When the permanent Kohen Gadol regains his ability, he is reinstated, and the substitute Kohen Gadol retires from active service. The permanent Kohen Gadol is called Kohen Mishamash, and after his return to his service, his substitute is called Kohen Sha'avar. Okay.
yeah, that's what it is.
Naftali, now you can say the whole daf.
Okay, Zog the Mishnah. Yeah, it's a Torah Rabbanan. Here we go. Interesting Gemaras. We still have to get into the pre-Rosh Hashanah Gemara. Let's hopefully we have time. Torah Rabbanan. Is that today's daf? No, it's tomorrow's daf. Is it tomorrow's daf or tomorrow's daf? No, tomorrow's. Okay, yeah, I forgot. It's tomorrow's daf. Torah Rabbanan. Shemen HaMishcha she'asa Moshe b'Midbar. The Shemen HaMishcha that Moshe made in the Midbar, how you shalken by as a ikrim. How did he do the Shemen HaMishcha? How did he make it? All right. So, because he had to put in the spices, etc., etc. So, you need to put spices and oil. So he would shulkin by. Shulkin by means he boiled it as ha'ikrim, the roots of spices in the olive oil. And then he took out the roots. The Rav Yehuda, that was Shitas Rav Yehuda. Right? But then you're not going to be able to smear the ikrim. There's not enough oil. Right? And you can't even smear the oil on the roots. There wasn't that much oil as we're about to see. So of course you're not gonna be able to boil up the oil. Ella, shariness ikrim b'mayim. What he did was he soaked the ikrim in water. Umatzef alav shemen, and then he would pour the oil on them. V'koilet asareach, and then it would absorb the smell from these roots. The kaifchai, and then he wiped it off, and then he put it all back into the bottle. Okay. It was only one nace that was done with the Shemen HaMishcha. There were lots of nace in the one. It was 12 lugin. Right? And it was, and they were what do you call it? Anoint all the kalim of the Mishkan and its kalev, the whole Mishkan itself and the kalev. Aaron Ubanov, Kol Shivas Yimei Meluim, Aaron Ubanov and his kids all 7 days. The Kula Kaim Lasad Lavai, and they were all and it's still for Lasad Lavai when we have the third base of Mikdash. Shenem Hashem and Mishchas Kaidish Yazeh Lila Dairei Seichem. So how are you possibly using such a small amount? Yeah. So Tanya Idach Vayikach Moshe es Shemen HaMishcha, and another brayso that says Moshe took the Shemen HaMishcha, V'yimshech es HaMishkan v'eskol HaShaboy, and he anointed the whole Mishkan and everything else in it. From the beginning to the end, there were nisim. In the beginning, it was only 12 lugin. Right? Raw kama yura belas.
The Gemara doesn't say what he had to do on each thing. So how do they know it's not enough?
I mean, it's really not that. What do you mean?
If he had to touch Aaron's forehead, so he touched it, he put it in the oil, he touched his forehead with it.
Right, but what about all the kalim and everything
else?
Yeah,
everything. How much? It depends how much you have to put on.
Even so, you think you're gonna have 12 lug are gonna cover that?
I'll say yes. I would think that.
Yeah, the Gemara doesn't think that.
Okay, no.
The direct. How about first we figure out how big a lug is?
Yeah, well, the Gemara anybody in the Gemara never made it to Litta, so they don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so let's see. Raw kama yora belas, right? How much does a vat, meaning when you boil things up in there, or not even boil, it sits in there,
the
it
guys
gets
who sell
absorbed.
the herring bisman is there.
You might have to ask those guys. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, Vakama Ikrim Bailam, and how much does the root absorb? Vakama or Sairif, how much does the fire burn up, which is like evaporation? Ubay Nimshach Mishkan Kalev, and they still used it to do the Mishkan and its Kalev. Aaron Ubanov Kol Shivas Yimei Meluim, and Aaron and his kids, all Shivas Yimei Meluim, Ubay Nimshachu Kahanam Gedolim Umalachim. And that's what they used for Kahanam Gedolim and kings. Even a Kohen Gadol, the son of a Kohen Gadol, needs Mashiach. But a king, for a Kohen Gadol, even if his father's a Kohen Gadol, you have to pour oil. But a king, you don't have to when you appoint a son. So then why did Shlema Melech? Why did they anoint him? Because of the machlokes of Adoniah. Adoniah wanted to take over the king. Not Shlomo. So Mamela, they had to show that Shlomo was legit, so they did it. There's Yoash, and what about Yoash? Mepnei Atalia. There's Yoyachas Mepnei Yoyakim. So Yegadam Menu Shtei because he was older than him in 2 years older than him. So we'll see in the Gemara what that is. Hashem and Kaim lasted lovei, and not only that, you use oil for all these things, and it's going to be lasted lovei. Shenem Hashem and Mishchas Kodesh Yezeli L'Daresechem. It's going to be forever. Zeh b'gematria shnei amasa lugan hava, and Zeh is 12. That's a gematria of so it's 12. So that's where you get 12 lugan. Right? Amar Mar Fafilu Kohen Gadol ben Kohen Gadol ton Mashiach. A Kohen Gadol ben a Kohen Gadol needs Mashiach. We no longer say a Kohen Mashiach tachta mibonov. It says the Kohen that's anointed from his kids, under him from his kids. Name a kra Kohen mitachta bonov. My Mashiach. Why are you sticking in the word Mashiach here? Just say the son who's being anointed, the son who's of a Kohen Gadol. Kamashon the mibon of the Kohen Gadol. He have a Mashiach, have a Kohen Gadol. Even the kids of the Kohen Gadol. If he's a Mashiach, he's a Kohen Gadol. If he's anointed, he's a Kohen Gadol. If have a Kohen Gadol. If not, then he is not a Kohen Gadol. So Amar Mar, ve'ein moishchen melech ben melech minol. And how do you know that you don't anoint the king, the son of a king? So Amar Rav Acha bar Yaakov, the Siv Leman Yaruch Yomim HaMamlachtoi. That you're going to have lengthy days of his kingdom. Yerusha Hilachem. It's a Yerusha, right? So since it's a Yerusha, he doesn't have to be anointed. Again, going back, we said that some kings like Shlomo Melech needed to be anointed. Why? Because it was a machlokes. How do you know? How do you know that you need anointing when there's a machlokes? And not anybody who just wants the kingdom gives it over to his sons. I'm like Papa, I'm like Kla. Who born to carry Yisrael? So he and his sons to carry Yisrael. His mom for Shalom be Yisrael at the time that there's peace in Yisrael. Karina Behu Bano. That's when we call him and his sons. He doesn't need to be anointed. But when there's no peace and there's fighting, then you do need Mashiach. Tana, so what it says, asks, Af Yehu ben Nimshi, like Nimshach Halanim Aflutusa Shagara. So Yehu ben Nimshi wasn't anointed only because of Yerim. Those are the kids of Achav. But typically Mishum Derishan, who why don't you say that he was the reason he needed to be anointed because he was the first king. His father wasn't a king. Obviously, we need a big knowledge of Nach here. So Malchi is David Meshuchin, Malchi Yisrael ain't Meshuchin. So Malchi is David Meshuchin, Malchi Yisrael and not Meshuchin min Nalan. From where? Amar Rava, Amar Kra, Kum, Mashcheyu, right? To anoint him, Kizel. Zeton Mashiach vein Achar Ton Mashiach. This one needs Mashiach, and nobody else needs Mashiach. Amar Af Yehu ben Nimshi loy nimshach elav bnei machlekusa shayarim u'mishum machlekusa shayam and achav nimol b'shemen. Okay, so you're saying that the only reason why we did it is because it was epis of competition. So therefore, you should go use the oil. You go over on meila. You're going to use hektish for no reason. So gedamar papa ba'afarsim adachya, like we're going to say in tomorrow's daf as Hashem. It was not talking about the regular shemen amishcha. It was talking about some sort of balsam oil. They didn't do it with the original oil. So when I asked, you said Yayachas because he was taking over and he went ahead of his brother who was 2 years older than him. Was he really older than him? Right? So it can't be that he was older. No, so really Yayakim was older. Umay Bechar lemalchus. He was a Bechar to the Malchus, which is meaning what? That he was going to get the Malchus. I don't clearly understand the Havamim and the Maskana there. Right? Meaning, so we're saying that Bechar doesn't mean in years. It means that he was the one who's going to be appointed. Okay, so then that's why you had the issue. Right? Okay, so when it says Umi Malchi Zutri Mikamik Shishi, do they taka appoint a younger one before an older one? So when I answer Yarim Mamala Makam Avoisav Hava, he was Mamala Makam his father's Yayakim Lama Mamala Makam Avoisav. Again, the teretz I don't really understand. One is Mamala Makam, one is not. Okay, but who said that one should be Mamala Makam and one shouldn't? Okay, Amamar. Who Shalom, who Tzidkiyo, who Yachanan, who Yayachas, right? V'achad v'chad kachashiv, right? It's each one seems to be a separate person. To Siv Hashlishi Haravi, it says the third and the fourth. That sounds like they're different people. So when it says my Shlishi Lebanim, when it says Shlishi means the third child. My Ravi Lamalchus to me. Kara Melech Yachas Lebasef Yayakim Lebasef Yichanu Lebasef Tzidkiyo. Right? Yeah, let's just finish the daf. Let's just finish the oven because then it's a need. Tanabon. Who Shalom? Who Tzidkiyo? Shalom. Why is he called Shalom? So he's Meshulam b'Maisav. He's Meshulam in his Maisim. Ikadamri Shalom Sheshleima Malchus Beistavid b'Yamav. He's called Shalom because it's finished. The Malchus Beistavid was finished in his days. So Mashmoi, what was his name? Masanya. His name was Masanya. Meshmoi. Shenemar v'Yimlach Melech Bavel es Masanya Doidoi Tachtav. He appointed Masanya, his uncle, in his place. Yosef es Shemoi Tzidkiyo, and then they changed his name to Tzidkiyo. Amralei, she said to him, Ka yatzdik alecha sadin. Hashem should agree with the din. Im timrid be, if you're going to be rebel against me. Right? This is talking about this Nebuchadnezzar saying. If you're going to keep this thing, then there's going to be no problem. Should never be able to Bavelo. Ksiv v'gam b'melech Nebuchadnezzar marad asher shpiu belikim, and he also rebelled against Nebuchadnezzar, who made him into whatever. He made a shvua that he's not going to do that. So basically, Tzidkiya, when he made his rebellion, got Nebuchadnezzar upset, and that's what caused the Churban Abayis. Okay, I know we went a little fast here, but them's the breaks. All right. Have a good Shabbos. Shakeach.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Let's say it till him. Yud Gimel. Lam Natzach B'Zmal David. Adona Adonai Tishkeni Netzach. Adona Tasem Spenechem Imeni. Adona Ashi Seis Spenav Sheyogim Barav Yom. Adona Yom Avi Eloi. Abita Anene Adonai Eloi. Hira Ina Penisha Namavas Ben Yom Avi Chal Titzar Yilu Ki Amoit. Ani